So at Conductor, our purpose and why we started the company and why I wake up with a smile every day is to make this transformation a lot easier. We want to give you the tools, the services, the support, the technology, everything you do to make this a lot easier, because we think about this and we're obsessed with this. So we're going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about some things that we're doing at Conductor to make it so we can make all of this a lot easier. So to do this, I'd like to call up our head of product management and a good friend, Baruch Toledano.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. So our goal at Conductor is to provide you with technology that allows you to do customer-first marketing in a simple way. And so we've been using this framework for some time that we've developed, and it actually does exactly that. The framework has basically 3 parts to it. It's fairly basic. It starts with identifying these opportunities. Once you've identified these opportunities, you want to take actions against them. And then, of course, you want to measure the success and the result so you can actually go back and see what worked and what didn't, and you can actually improve and refine the things you're doing. Seth has been talking about some of the important questions that you have to answer in order to do customer-first marketing. And so throughout this process, there are a series of questions that you want to ask. So in identify opportunities, who is my customer? How are they actually expressing intent? And then, of course, what's my competition out there? Now, armed with all of these opportunities, you're able to go back and think about all the actions that you want to take there. So as you're ready to take action against these opportunities that you've seen, so you're going to ask yourself a very basic question. What content do I have, and do I need to improve this content? And if I don't have content, obviously, what content do I need to write? And then the last thing, you want to measure the effectiveness of what you're doing. And so the top questions that you want to answer are, is this content actually driving the results that I'm looking to get? How do I share this effectively with the different stakeholders in my organization so they actually understand how we're doing in a cohesive way? And then, of course, how has my market share changed? Has it actually been improved or not? Now, as you're going to see in the next few minutes, not only that we build the Conductor platform to answer all these questions very well, we built it in a very simple way and a very practical way so you can actually go and bring your entire marketing team with you throughout this entire process. So to bring this framework to life, what we wanted to do is to share with you some of our latest technologies that we've been building. And I think you're going to find it very, very exciting about how this whole thing comes to life. Seth,
Thank you,
ready to see some product?
Yeah, baby, let's do it. Thank you, Baruch. Give it up for Baruch. All right, so to help me with the demos today, I'm going to call up no other than Vishal Berry. Come on up, Vishal Berry. Let's give this guy a round of applause. So, thanks, brother. You're over there. So the first problem that we're going to focus on is one that I've been talking about, which is about bringing the voice of the customer to everything you do. There are all these things happening all the time. You're creating content, you're updating content, you're changing categories, you're ideating for campaigns, you're naming products, you're writing messaging for a TV commercial. Every one of these is an opportunity to bring the voice of the customer into all of that. Now, we really when we thought about this, we wanted to come up with how can we make this really, really easy, no friction, and have just a simple, portable way where you can bring the voice of the customer to everything you do. So I'd like to call to the stage our CTO, Shamoon Mirza, to talk about a new technology we're releasing today. Hey, Shamoon.
Hey. Hey, Seth. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be presenting the customer voice functionality. As Seth said, it's critical to understand what your customers are talking about, and really, in the best case, understand it verbatim, actually understand the language, the terms that they're using, because that not only tells you how to talk to them, but it also tells you what they're really looking for. So we're going to go through a couple of examples. For the first example, let's look at a big player in the big data space. MongoDB is a big company. They're very well known. They're very well established. And in this particular scenario, we're trying to put together a sales pitch for them. The target audience is not their users. They're early stage kind of audience. They might be interested. They might have problems in this area. And I want to understand better what language to use to appeal to those issues and be able to connect with them. So the first thing I'm going to do is just look up my brand and see that when I look this up, what else are people looking for when they actually do engage with my brand. But there's a lot of noise. A lot of this is very obvious. So I'll go into the filters, and I can now go in there and be able to say, I want to only see the early stage users, people who are earlier in the customer buying journey. Now when I go look at the results, it's a little different. And I see this data wrangling. What's this thing? I hadn't really thought about this before. Now let me drill down a little bit further and understand, where is this coming from? Is this just a fad? Well, it looks like there's about 1,000 people a month looking for this right now. It's been increasing over the last year. And I also now know that if you look at the top results, I actually don't show up. But one of my potential competitors, Trifecta, does. So at this point, not only do I know that this is a term I need to start using, I need to understand the context of it so that I can go back and talk to my audience in a way that they will understand me. But I can also go back and make sure that we start creating content around it so that we can get more traffic that's inbound. So now to look at a more like consumer, business consumer kind of example, I took some time thinking of what should I look at, and I found out and saw this trend that's starting to happen, especially since the last election. And it turns out, but that's fairly general. How do we know what they're really looking for, right? They're looking for some kind of help, but it's not clear. So at this point, it's more about understanding, where are these people coming from? What is the crux of the matter? What are they really looking for? So when you look it up straight up, you see some really powerful words there. Need is probably one of the most powerful, in fact, probably the most powerful way to say, this is my intent, this is what I'm looking for. But it's a little general. So again, I want to hone down to what I really am looking for, which is, what are these people going out looking for? So when I go into the filters, I can now go and say, I want to see everywhere where the user is explicitly saying they need something, but exclude some of the more general terms, so I can really get to the heart of the matter. And now when I look at the results, it makes a lot of sense. Like venting is really, I mean, I certainly relate with that. And now I'm in a position where not only do I understand the language, but I understand what kind of services, what kind of products that I have to be providing to my customers to be able to really connect with them.
Awesome. Yeah, what I love about that is that not a lot of people are looking for online therapy, but you then come across that people actually need help. So if you're creating a marketing program, that's a great thing to talk about. Yeah. Shuman, when is this going to be available for everyone?
Well, that's the best news. It's available right now. It's available on the Apple App Store. You can get it on Google Play as well on Android. And I encourage everybody to download it and play around with it.
Awesome. Thank you, Shuman.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the next thing we want to focus on is, what's your competition doing? No strategy is complete without knowing what your competition is doing. And what we really wanted to do was make this really easy for you to just take anyone that you want and get very, very quick executive level insight, but then very tactical information about how to make an impact on your competition. So I'd like to call to the stage Michael Rubino, who's going to talk about Conductor's new Domain Explorer.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. Thanks to everyone else for coming out tonight as well, or this morning as well. So I'm going to talk to you all about a great new innovation we've been working on called Domain Explorer, which I think is going to be really impactful for a lot of you. Domain Explorer essentially gives you on-demand access to a global index of search data. Now what that means more practically for you is that you can enter any domain and immediately see the organic search performance of that domain. You can essentially get an inside look at any company's organic marketing strategy. So I'm in Domain Explorer right now here in the Bed Bath & Beyond Searchlight account. I'll step into my marketing shoes for a moment here, and we'll run through a few examples. Maybe some random ones at first here. I like rockets, actually, and space travel. So let's put in NASA's website, nasa.gov. Excellent. All right, so I can get instant results here. I can see that NASA is ranking for 1.8 million total searches right now. Another quick example, and I'll go through the details a little later here. A news website, Vishal. Let's go for NewYorkTimes.com. Excellent. All right, that was bananas fast. This thing gives you an executive level summary here, where I can see that New York Times is ranking for 18.6 million searches. That's 10 times the traffic or the search volume that we were getting on, that we were getting for NASA.gov. Let's get into a more relevant example, though, for Bed Bath & Beyond, since we're marketers there. I will put in IKEA.com, who's a competitor of mine. I think they sell labyrinths of sofas and couches and living rooms and that kind of thing. Let's see how they're doing on organic search. So I can immediately see that high-level summary. I can see that they are ranking for 1.1 million total searches. I can see the modeled traffic that we expect those searches to be directing to their website. And I can also see how that spread across all the different pages of search results. Looks like IKEA is actually commanding some pretty impressive reach here on search. But I don't just care about them in a vacuum, so I need a frame of reference. Down below that, I can see a trended graph of IKEA's performance over time versus my own domains, bedbathandbeyond.com, both in terms of modeled traffic, as well as the raw number of ranked results that we each have. Well, it looks like we're actually pretty competitive here over time. And Domain Explorer doesn't stop there. It actually lets you go from here, that 35,000-foot view, down to a very granular, tactical ground floor level. So I'm going to go over to the top searches page and get in to see exactly what searches IKEA is ranking for. Now, it's important to note that this page is also based on that 1.1 million total results that IKEA has, and we're surfacing the top most important ones here. I've got a bunch of different ways that I can filter based on these cards at the top of the report. So I can filter based on where IKEA is the highest ranking, or where I have an opportunity where IKEA is not on the first page, maybe where IKEA has dropping visibility over time, or where they have exclusive coverage on the first page, even where I have an exclusive coverage of the first page for the terms that they're ranking for. So these all filter the table down below. I can also filter based on things like stage of the customer journey, so if I wanted to target just early versus just late stage content or terms, as well as on including or excluding different keywords and terms and phrases. So Seth, I could go on, I think, for a while about this, but I'll invite you guys all to check it out at the Innovation Lab after the keynote.
Thank you, Michael. So I know you have one more thing that we want to talk about. So once you figured out what your customers are looking for, and you figured out what your competition's doing, and you see you have content. A lot of the opportunity sits in the content we already have, but we need to make our content better. So the problem that we were trying to focus on is how do we help you with figuring out what are the best ways to improve your content, and then also of those best ways, if you have limited resources, how can you prioritize that? So Michael's going to talk about some of the big updates that we've done to Conductor's brand new recommendations.
Yep, so Seth mentioned recommendations. We've actually got an entire module in Searchlight for recommendations. And I'll go into it right now. So I'm again in Bed Bath & Beyond, in their account here. We have revamped the recommendations module and rebuilt it essentially from the ground up to meet your needs and make it as easy as possible to use. Sometimes having all the data, all the recommendations isn't necessarily the best way to do it. You need the right recommendations for what you want to be working on right now. So we give you great ways to be able to, at the top, filter down based on the sets of pages that you want to focus on. So I could focus on ones where they're just set as the preferred URLs or inside of a content map. I can also go further and filter based on content segments or certain groups of pages. So once I know what set of pages I want to focus on, then my next question is, where do I start? How do I sort these recommendations to find the ones that I want to get done? I can sort based on things like the best opportunity or where I might have a quick win, as well as number of recommendations or the most organic sessions. On top of that, I can also filter down based on HTML elements. If I just want to change title tags or meta descriptions, this chart here tells me how many outstanding recommendations I have for each of those. And I can click on one of the bar charts to filter the table below. So speaking of that table, let's get into it. I see a line-by-line list of all the different pages that I have outstanding recommendations for. And if I look at the second one here, window curtains and drapes, I can see that I've got 5 outstanding recommendations. I see the title tag of the page and the URL. And if I want to, I can click in to see page insights for this page, another report where you can see in-depth data, as well as click out to view the page live on the web. I'm not going to do either of those. I'll actually stay here in the platform and open up this row. What I see is a line-by-line list of all the different recommendations that we have for this page. So we've got recommendations in the title tag, the meta description, the headers, and we give you a very detailed idea of what the recommendation is, how to make the change, what the level of impact is, and the expected level of effort it might take to get this done. If you're wondering where these recommendations are coming from, you can click the little arrow in the top of each report, and that will tell you the best practices that Searchlight has come up with and why we're generating these recommendations for you. So recommendations, the new recommendations, is available to all of you now in your Searchlight accounts.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Give it up for Mike Rubino.
Thanks, guys.
So the last two things I want to share are about two really, really big problems, which is around measurement, which is around understanding what you do. So in other forms of marketing, your typical value equation is you spend money, what do you get back in return? And that's generally how you look at things. But with what we're doing, with customer-first marketing or organic marketing, it's much more about activities. It's about doing things. It's about making changes. It's about making updates. It's about creating content. It's about creating things. So the equation is much different. It's about what did you do and then what was the actual return. So we've been thinking about this problem for actually several years. And it's the culmination of a lot of stuff that we've actually been working on. And we're really excited to share something we're calling content activity reporting. And my colleague Catherine's here to talk about it. So Catherine, what's up?
Seth? Hi. So content activity reporting. I have worked with over 100 organic marketers since I've been with Conductor. And to Seth's point, the most common challenge I've heard is, Kat, I do a lot of work every day, but I have a hard time tying it back to tangible results I'm seeing on my site. So it is really exciting for me to finally be able to bring a real solution to that problem through content activity reporting. To do that, I'm going to work as an organic marketer today, hop into Conductor, and take a look at my outdoor content, which as an organic marketer today, I own. So here in this content performance view, I'm looking at the analytics data we pull in through an integration. Where content activity reporting really starts to add more value to this view is the ability to see where Conductor has automatically detected new content or updated content. So now I have this system of record of everything that was done and touched in my realm, which is outdoor content. So I see a little uptick for Jan 7. I want to see exactly what was detected that week. All right, cool. 32 pages were newly found. 85 pages were updated. Been pretty busy. But more importantly, how is that content actually performing? So in order to investigate that, I go up and click on my new and updated pages only. Again, looking at Jan 7, when I hit apply, I can see the performance of those newly modified or newly detected pages in Conductor. Awesome. There's been a really nice increase from January 7th to February 18th. That's exciting. Even more so, when I compare it to my unmodified pages, you can really already see the impact my activities has had versus pages that weren't touched. Now, I want to take a look at one of the pages that are really driving this uptick of performance. So I'm going to click into one of my URLs that takes me to the Page Insights view. In Page Insights, I'm looking at the analysis of this particular URL. I see again that my visits started really skyrocketing for this particular page January 14th, my annotation from January 7th, which we saw before. I click into that annotation because I don't really remember what I did then. It's been very busy, I forgot, but Conductor reminded me. So that's right, I use the customer voice. I learned that patio rugs is actually searched for a whole lot more than outdoor rugs. I updated my H1 tag to reflect the customer's voice and get more eyeballs. And now I can see that based on this change, there's been this great increase in visits. On top of that, when I look at the actual search performance on the keyword level, we can see that I saw a huge lift from my ranks for patio rugs and patio rugs really affirming the fact that my activities really made a difference on this page. It's really made a difference in the overall trajectory of all this content for my outdoor pages, and it's really something exciting to bring to my executive team for further investments and some recognition. So yeah, really excited to have the solution. It will be in your hands Q2 2017, and I'm really excited for you guys to play around with it. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Catherine. That was awesome. Content activity reporting. So our last release today is around this theme about making things simple. If there's one thing that I hear consistently from our customers, it's that you're all busier and busier than ever before. You don't have time to comb through data and look at charts and dashboards and information. You just want to know what matters, and you want to know what matters just even before you walk into the door of your office every morning. And on top of that, we're using lots of different tools, and each of these tools and each of these things have the same challenge. You have to go check this thing and this thing and this thing, only to find out maybe there's nothing to work on. So we've been really, really focused on this problem and figuring out how can we make it really easy for you to know what matters, what doesn't matter, across multiple sets of technology, and have it all done for you on your phone before you even walk into your office. So to talk about Conductor's Insight Stream, I'd like to welcome Pat Kent. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Seth. Right. Conductor's answer to this very complicated problem is Insight Stream. There's an overwhelming amount of data, and what we want to do is we want to surface all of the most important information that the Conductor platform has to surface in one single stream of data. When you first log into the platform, you're met with your unique experience of Insight Stream. As you start to interact with the different elements of Insight Stream, be it market share reports or visibility gains and drops, it will learn your behavior and it will surface additional, more granular insights as they become available. So let's start to look into some of these cards. And these cards go from everywhere. They're everywhere from analytics to visibility drops to market share, but we're just going to be focusing on a few examples today. So for example, what we can look at right here is that traffic from organic search is 2% higher this week than it was the week before. That's great information. I'm going to want to send that insight to my CMO. All right, well, what pages contributed to that change? Insight Stream is interactive, meaning that as you start to click within the actual boxes in the stream cards, it will take you to a filtered report within the Conductor platform to tell you exactly what pages led to that change. So let's look at a more practical workflow that kind of coincides with what Michael Rubino was just talking about with recommendations. For example, we can see in this card, we just moved up in the striking distance for 14 searches last week. One of them is a very highly searched term, humidifiers. What recommendations does the Conductor Searchlight platform have for me to help me move on to page 1? I can click on that button right there. It will take me to the keyword list. I can click on the URL, and I can start to look at the recommendations that the platform has. So you can use this as launching points into actual workflows themselves. So there's a lot of different cards, as I mentioned, that we can go through, but let's talk about a different aspect of the Insight Stream, which is collaboration. Collaboration is key to being able to effectively do organic search marketing. We all know it can't fall on the shoulders of a single individual anymore. Kat Heiser just came up just moments before and talked about content activity tracking. And we can actually see that there's a card that coincides with everything that she just worked on. She was changing title tags, H1 tags. I think she kind of forgot some of the things that she was trying to work on. But we can also see that she worked on 57 new pages that just started getting organic search traffic. I can click on those pages, see what keywords led to those different traffic gains and fluctuations. Or I can just tell her, hey, @Kat, great job. Let's discuss next week. Or let's follow up soon. You can use these comments. When Kat logs into the platform, there's a notification section. She'll know that she got the comment. It sends her little pings so that she knows she got a notification. But if comments really aren't the way that your team best works, we don't want to fight your current workflows. You can actually click on this little button on the right-hand side, and you can send this as an email. This card will pop directly into an email. I can send this exact note to Kat. Or if she works better out of reports, I can add this card directly to a workspace, which, of course, are Conductor's interactive reporting functionality. So when we start to look at some of the different cards that we have, there's also really new ones that are really interesting. Seth was just mentioning AnswerBox and Arm & Hammer and all of that. And we also want to provide those insights in the Insight Stream as well. So right now we can see that Amazon owns 14% of answer boxes for searches that you track on Google Canada. You can click in there to see exactly where those search terms are and so forth. But let me focus on this one piece. It says Google Canada. For all you global marketers out there, Insight Stream is fully global, meaning that on the left-hand side, I can actually go and filter between different rank sources and different domains, so that as we start to expand international efforts, I can just focus on the stream of data that's most relevant for that specific market. So you might be asking, all right, well, this is all great Conductor data, but what about other data sources that you have in the platform? DeepCrawl, as many of you know, DeepCrawl was our big announcement in 2016, was announcing our big integration with DeepCrawl as our chosen site analysis vendor. And they're fantastic, right? If any of you don't know them, meet them out at the Innovation Labs. They're one of the, they're out in the partner ecosystem out there. But we also are going to be integrating DeepCrawl analysis throughout the platform. And one of the places that we're seeing that is actually in the Insight Stream. So we can see this card is specifically saying that we finished analyzing over 100,000 pages. 288 of them are broken. I can click directly on that link. It will take me to the filtered report within the DeepCrawl platform. So really cool stuff. So outside of DeepCrawl, we also know that you're always going to be utilizing tools and platforms outside of our platform, like Search Console. Every one of you is going to always be using Search Console. Even though we have it integrated in our technology, you're always going to be looking at specialized reports. So instead of trying to fight that workflow, we want to integrate those solutions into our technology. So we can see right here, we actually have a Search Console Insight card. This isn't just linking you into the Conductor platform. This link actually takes you directly to the filtered report within your Search Console profile. So that's really cool. You can now utilize Conductor as that single sign-on solution for all your organic search marketing needs. So just to summarize, Insight Stream is available today for all Conductor customers. It's available via mobile and desktop app. Mobile app is similar to what we just saw Shamoon present with the customer voice. You just tab over, you can see your actual Insight Stream of data as well. It's collaborative in nature. And finally, it's also integrating in other great data sources such as DeepCrawl and Search Console. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Pat. All right, so those are our announcements. We made a really short video just to talk about how all of this comes together and how we hope it all comes together. Just a small confession. That big guy, that was our CFO. You'll see him around.
All right, so as you saw, our latest capability lets you do customer-first marketing in a really easy way. There's so much more behind these features and these capabilities, so stop by the Innovation Lab where you'll see some of our product managers, our engineers who have actually been working and building these capabilities and many more. So in the coming months ahead, expect more from us as we're coming to the year. We're going to scale the number of pages that we analyze. More things are global. Our workspaces are going to revamp and include a lot of the feedback that we got from many of you users over the years. And then, of course, more technologies that you use are going to be integrated within the Conductor platform.
Thank you, Baruch. Thank you, Baruch. And just I wanted to say a big thank you to all the Conductor engineers. If you see them, they're wearing orange shirts. They're phenomenal people. Get to know them, meet them, share your feedback. We love to hear from you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for our incredible engineers. Thank you, guys.